All right, the recording started and away we go. This one out of the way. And that one out of the way. Get that one out of the way there. All right. Start the screen share and we are ready to roll. Okay, so here we are all the way down week 4. Tonight, you'll be turning in those informational interviews where you talk to a member of management. We had some exceptional ones turned in, some incredible people that some of you are privileged to know, or you got to interview with, some valuable information. Now, as much as we would love to be able to turn that information, give that to you in a classroom. But unfortunately, that information comes from experience only. This is why we give you these live sessions, to give you additional information besides what you see in just the assignments. This is the important part of it, the added pieces, because that is what we bring to you. There's a lot of experience. We've been in different fields. We've got this information, things that you can learn that we found out the hard way. We don't want you to go through the same experiences. These are things that will help you advance faster and further than we could. We really want you to go further. I was in the Midwest, and there's some areas in the Midwest where they actually consider it not a good thing if you make it further than the people who came before you. In other words, if you go further than your parents did, they didn't do enough for you, and it's insulting. And so what this does is every generation does not do as good as the generation before them. This is kind of a backwards way of thinking. So every generation does worse than the generation before. So they're moving into poverty instead of going forward. So we want you to go the other direction. We want you to advance. Everybody moving forward is a positive thing. So learning and these informational interviews is the way we do that. You're going to learn from everybody in your career and maybe people outside your career. Remember those soft skills, those transferable skills we talked about? Those ones that go from career to career. I mean, remember these. You have these. Remember those transferable skills, those soft skills. Pepperino, you remember what I'm talking about, these soft skills. Okay. You will pick up information outside of your career. All right. Those skills will add to your skills. Okay. People have it in their head. If it's outside of what they do with that hands-on, it's not important. People know better than that. A one-dimensional employee is not a good thing. That overall set of skills, that's what's going to move them up. There are a lot of layoffs happening in different areas. When it comes time for them to evaluate who is here and who is there, who moves up, the one that gives them the most is the one that stays and remains and moves forward. So try to make yourself more marketable, more valuable. That's where you're going to excel. You have that ability to do that. I've seen it in some of the things that you all are doing, and that is what's going to set you apart. If you settle, that is what's going to set you apart, possibly in not the best way. Okay? For tomorrow, again, it will be a recorded session. It's going to basically show you how to do the final exam. I'm going to be setting that up with an automated text that will go out about 9 a.m. That's a big advantage for y'all who are in the night class. Is there a question? I see your mic unmuted there. Yes, no? No? Okay. Okay, so that's going to be on automated text. That's going to go about 9 a.m. So you will have a copy of that link to the recording about then. In that text, it's also going to have your participation question. That's going to give you all day to do that up until 10 p.m. 10 p.m., the class cuts off. So don't think that you can come in after that to try to get attendance or complete anything. I don't have the ability to keep the class open. That's outside of my realm. So everything has to be completed by 10 p.m. All right. The other thing is that there's going to be an email that's going to be going out probably shortly after midnight tonight. That email is also going to have that question in the email. Okay, that means if it's in the text in the email, you're not going to have to skip through that little demo thing on the final exam to get that participation. You can just read it right there. All right, I'm saving you some time and effort. Okay, so I'm trying to help you all out there. I hope you appreciate that. So that way you can be done as early and painless as possible. That gives you the maximum time to complete anything that you have left open. On this final project, you must either use this template or provide it in a similar form. So what you need to do is you'll type my goals, and underneath it, you will have your long-term goals, okay? In your careers, you're going to have to follow detailed steps. You're going to have to read, and you're going to have to follow them. Telling you the format you need to put this in. Current company skills, knowledge, and experience. Your skill set. This is going to come right off your resume. List your soft and hard skills that you are going to have in here, okay? And that's what it means by transferable or alternate careers. Those are your soft skills. Those are your transferable skills. Entry-level positions, everybody knows what entry-level positions you qualify for. List them in here and those salaries that go along with them. You should know what positions you're eligible for and your salary. If not, Google those and find those out, okay? And that's what belongs in here. So all your hard, soft skills, entry-level positions, and salaries. That's what you'll be putting in here. Any additional certifications that go along with those positions, any trainings, any apprenticeships, things that are typically available for your careers, list those in there. And any further educations, things you might need, list all those in here for your future. Your action plan. This is where those short-term goals go in. If you did your long-term and short-term goals, you've got that pretty much done well here, because long-term, short-term skills come right off your resume. So trying to help you out there as well. The other thing is when you go to do that final exam, don't forget the help is right there. Boom, right there. Okay, print that out, pull it up on an alternate screen, alternate tab. Don't just guess. Make sure that you put your best foot forward. Be ready there. The final exam, you will come in here, click on the final exam. Don't go into it, think you're going to look around and then exit out. That will use up your chance at the final exam, okay? So there is only the one chance for you to go in there. If you go in there, look around and get out, you just use that chance, okay? So you cannot go in and do multiple attempts, right there, multiple attempts? No, there isn't a time limit, okay? So you can go in there and take all the time you want. Remember, 10 o'clock's the deadline. It's open, you're welcome to do it. There's 25 questions, 4 points each, total of 100 points. And when you start it, it's gonna tell you the same thing, 10% of your grade here, we lowered that so that all those assignments you've been doing, that's the majority of your actual grade. We're trying to make most of this multiple choice. It is random. Everybody doesn't get the same question. Sometimes people do get more fill in the blank. Your first time when you finish it, that's going to be like your lowest grade. I do go through and I check everything, especially the ones that it says that you got incorrect. I read it to see if the question was misleading in any way, shape, or form. It is a big database of questions. We try to pull out any that have been causing issues so that they don't come back, but I want to make sure that anything that could be interpreted by you, you do get full credit. If you do get a fill in the blank like this, don't leave things unanswered. Answer them to the best of your ability. Maybe you will get partial credit. It's worth 4 points. When I come through here, even if you get 1 point, it's better than no point. Everybody understand how to take the final exam. Everybody understand when you see that first grade, that's going to be the lowest grade, it most likely will go up. Everybody got that? Yes? All right. That's how the grading worked. Hopefully people did that extra credit that was available. That's a half a grade that will be added on if you did that. If you didn't, unfortunately, that's not available now. You missed out on that. That was a 5-point opportunity that does come in handy that would be added on. All right. So we are ready to get to getting. And let me pull up this PowerPoint here. That is not the one that I want there. 1 second. Get this thing started. All right. This is our last smiley face. And we get a draw here. And away we go. So we have all heard of identity theft. So identity theft, unfortunately, does happen when we are searching for jobs. We're going to talk about how to recognize and report employment scams, potential risks, and talk about some different malwares and things like that, and how to create and maintain a security plan. Okay. So we need to protect our privacy when looking for a job online, and because identity theft is out there. Okay, we gotta be diligent and some caution, common sense. And one of those big things is this, that social security number. If they are asking for that online when you're applying, that's a big red flag. Do not put in your social security number when you are applying for jobs. That should not come until you actually have that job in hand and you are doing that in person. If you think that you are being hustled, or anything in between, what you need to do is you need to contact the FTC. A lot of people don't think about the FTC. They think it only has to do with broadcasting, things like this. But actually, FTC is there to help you in case you are being or having issues with your identity being stolen. They're the ones who can help. A lot of people don't know this or understand everything that the FTC actually has under its umbrella, and that is one of them. And they are there to help you should you need it. That's who you would be contacting you, and they will help clear that up. It's amazing. Actually, until I started working in employee situations like that, that was something I wasn't aware of. A lot of people aren't. So you're going to be going to a lot of unfamiliar websites, and you need to be aware of some of the things that can happen and things to watch out for, because it can be a weird situation that you can be uh, pulled into. And some of those are those fake websites and employment scams. Never pay for a job. Okay, you see these things all the time, especially you want to become a mailman or you want to work in this office, that office. You have to pay this much money and they'll help you pass a test and this and that. What they're going to do is they're going to take your money and they're going to send you an application. The same application you can go get for free. Okay, especially for federal jobs. This is a big scam. You don't have to pay for these things. You can go get them free. Be very careful. Don't pay money to get a job. Okay, so be very, very careful with that. And so make sure you're checking out these employers. Do they have an actual website? On that website, does it have a physical address? If it does, take that address, drop it into Google, see if it pops up an actual building. A lot of times you take that address, you put it in, it's a field, or it's somebody's grandmother's house. They will rip you off. This is a big thing in Orlando, more so than Tampa. People go to work, they work there for a few weeks, they notice, well, I'm not getting a paycheck, or the paycheck bounces. Then they find out that this company doesn't pay. And people end up having to quit because it's either that or they have to pay for a lawyer, because a lawyer's not going to take on a company like this and cover it. They want the money up front. So you have to walk away and you've lost money and now you need a job. So you're even further along without pay, and you cannot necessarily get unemployment because the fake company doesn't pay unemployment. So you see how this spirals down on you. You're a victim and there isn't a lot of help. There's not a lot of legal assistance and you've been victimized and you fall through all the cracks in the system. It is wrong, but there's not a lot of right to help you. This is a big problem. And unfortunately, it's not being taken care of. Okay. And you have to be careful about giving up information. Okay. Now, anybody ever search the internet incognito using all these browser protections, things like that? Anybody ever do that? They go into incognito mode and that way they can browse safely on the web without people knowing. Okay, here's a hint, okay? I do cybersecurity, and that's going to keep a lot of people from knowing what you're doing, but it doesn't work if somebody really wants to know, okay? I'm on the dark web a lot. I get paid $300 an hour when somebody wants me to track somebody down on the internet. Yeah, it's a private thing, $300 an hour. If it takes me 15 minutes to locate you, I get $300. If it takes me an hour and 5 minutes, I get $600. Okay. We can get around all of that. We can locate you. We can tell you everything that you've been doing over and over and over. Everything that you've deleted, we will find. Okay. You leave digital footprints everywhere. So know where you've been going and it can be found. Okay. Now, for the majority of the people, that is not an issue because most people don't hire people to go looking for them. Okay. But just know that information's out there. Okay. So just be careful what you're doing because it can be found if somebody is that desperate to find things on you. All right. But every computer has an IP address. Okay. That's how they track people. That's how they know. Recently, Florida did a wonderful thing. And what they did was they said, you can't look at certain pictures and things in the state of Florida without verification, blah, blah, blah. In other words, they blocked porn by a lot of people. Okay, so how do they know where you are? And they're doing it by that IP address. Certain IP addresses are in Florida. That's how they know where you are. That's how they know how to check. Okay? And that's what it says. It reveals an approximate geographic location. And that's how they start doing it. Okay? So just be careful. So secure browsing, part of it has to do with this. Has anybody ever seen that up in the corner? HTTPS. Okay? When you're applying for jobs, a lot of illegitimate sites, you're going to notice it will just have HTTP. It doesn't have the S. They can't get that S. They don't qualify as a secure location. They're not legitimate. So it just says HTTP. You can still go there, but they're not secure. Okay. So that's another sign that maybe something's not quite right. Okay. Now here's another thing. Wi-Fi hotspots. We all use them. Be careful of the information that you're sending back and forth and back and forth, okay? If you're on a public Wi-Fi spot, be careful of the financial information you pull up because this is a building. This is where you want to be, and they are sending out a Wi-Fi signal. Okay? Fine and dandy. But here is a car sent out here, or a van, whatever. And it sending out a Wi-Fi signal. And its Wi-Fi signal that it's saying, it is able to be connected to anybody inside that building. And its name is the most common misspellings of this one. So if you misspell or you click incorrectly, instead of connecting there, you're going to connect to them. Okay? Now, every transaction that you're doing is going this way through them. And they're collecting all that data as it goes through them. And they're not giving you any clue that they're doing it. They're just, that's an empty car sitting out there. And it's just collecting data, collecting data, collecting data. And they're going to sit on that data for a while before they act. That's one way they collect it. Okay? Another way they collect it is they go through Facebook. Anybody ever see these things that they go around on Facebook, where they ask you, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite this? What's your favorite that? You ever see these things and, everybody participate. It won't be fun if people don't participate. And everybody clicks and they do this and they do that. Have you seen these polls and people tend to do it? Not trying to be rude, but typically women tend to answer these more so than men. But you see these go around. Have you noticed that those questions are the same questions that people answer for resetting their passwords? It's not coincidence. So then they hack Facebook accounts. Only they don't tell you. They don't duplicate them. They just go in and they search for those polls. Or they search for them where people don't lock down their Facebook accounts. And the reason why they do this is now they have ways of getting your passwords off of your financial accounts. So when you go in and you set up the security codes and things, and they ask you to set up answers, what's your favorite color or what's your dog's name or what. You don't have to put in a real answer. Okay. So if they tell you, um, what's your favorite movie or this or that, if they tell you those things, what's your favorite movie? Put in there Chevrolet. You know, what state were you born in? You know, Rocky. You can put in any answer. It doesn't care. Don't answer the question with a real legitimate answer with what it's asking. That is one way to make those questions more secure. That way, if they see that, what's your mother's maiden name? Don't put in your mother's real maiden name. Make an answer up that makes sense to you. But this way, if they get your mother's maiden name, they can't get in and reset that password and then get into that account. Does everybody understand the logic in that? Because you're trying to keep people from hacking. And your mother's maiden name, that's public information. They can go find your birth record. That's all available online free. Okay? So you're trying to secure that. Because here's another thing that they do. Anybody ever buy a car? Any one of you ever buy a car? You make those payments and you're doing that, you get a car. Okay, so you're going to buy a car. You got 2 payments left. That's public information. I can find out how much you owe on that car. Okay, Zeffirino is buying a car. It's got 2 payments left. He's all excited. Woo, 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 right? I'm going to pay his car off. Okay, I'm going to pay that car off. I'm a nice guy, right? Only here's the deal. I'm going to go in and I'm going to change the address so the title comes to me. Only Zeffirino don't know. Now the title's mine. And I'm going to go follow and I'm going to get pictures of that car and I'm going to list it out on the marketplace. And then I'm going to call a tow truck and I'm going to have the car towed, and I can because I have the title. And I'm going to tow the car, then I'm going to have the car keys remade. Doesn't take long. Now I've got the car, the title, and the keys. I've got a burner phone. Somebody's going to call. I'm going to sell it. Now I've sold the car, transferred the title. I've got the cash. The phone's gone. I'm gone. Zeffirino's going to call in the car as stolen, right? So they find the car. Person goes, I bought this car. Here's my money. I've got the title. Now Zeffirino's being checked out for fraud, calling in a stolen car when the car's been sold and the person's got the title. Now Zeffirino looks like somebody who's trying to get a car back through insurance fraud. Now Zeffirino's in trouble. Now Zeffirino's got to figure out how to get out of this. Another victim. That easy. We have to protect ourselves. And they get these information with people filling things out online, and we got to be careful. Make sure you're checking those Wi-Fi spots. Make sure they're legitimate. A little bit of checking goes a long way. Cookies. Cookies are those little pieces of data stored on a computer that tells you where you visited so you don't see the same information over and over. Make sure you clear those cookies at the end so that they don't come in. People come in, take those cookies off your machines. We call those people cookie monsters. And with that information, they can restore information on another computer and see where you've been, what you've been doing. It's a great way to spy on people. Now, we all hear about people hacking into systems and things, but there's different types. Phishing. Phishing is when somebody's going to send you an email. It's like a real popular one. You owe money on your SunPass. You need to click in here, or we're going to disable your SunPass, and you need to pay that. You click on it. It's got information about your car, what you owe, and when you pay, it's not SunPass, but now they got your credit card information and they're going to start running things up on it. Okay, if you get anything like this, don't click on what they want you to pay on. Actually log into the site that it tells you you should go to. So get out of that, go to your actual credit card yourself. Don't click on it. Malware. Okay, so malware, what that is it's going to damage your own machine. It's very similar to a virus, but it damages your machine. A virus is like malware, but it's going to spread. Okay, it's the same thing, but it's spread. Malware's happy where it is, just tearing that up. Viruses go from one to another. Adware. Now, adware is not necessarily bad. If you want to use it for free, you're going to have to look at the ads on the site, but you get it for free. Okay. Now, spyware. Anybody have an Xbox? Anybody have the old Xbox that used to have the cameras? Remember those? Those were fun. And then everyone found out that when the workers at Microsoft got bored, they just turned the cameras on and watched what you did in your living room. Ain't that fun? Let's just see what's going on in everybody's living room and watch them. That's what the workers were doing. They turned those cameras on and stared at you, and you had no idea. They didn't turn the little indicator lights on. They just watched y'all. And if they found people interesting, they shared that information with the other workers. Let's watch and see what they're doing. Spyware is kind of similar, only it's watching what's going on your computer and you don't know it. So that's why you run those checkers to see what's going on. Okay, ransomware. This has happened to governments. It's happened to school systems, legal systems, everywhere. It takes over your system and it locks it up. You don't get it back unless you pay the money. Don't pay the money, they're going to destroy your system, destroy the data. You're not getting in. So what can you do about it? Run your antivirus software, mobility, security. Your mobile security. If you're running an Android phone versus an iPhone, you need to have virus protection on it, okay? It's not because there's something wrong with Android. It has to do with the platform. iPhones are what we call a closed system. Everything has to be approved by Apple. They're very, very tight on what they allow in, and so therefore it's hard to do it. An Android system, you have all these people that come in and they can dump stuff into the Google App Store, okay? And the Android Play Store, everything, anything can go into that store. They still have requirements, but because it's open, anybody can put stuff into it. That brings along viruses. So if you have an Android, put security on it. It's not difficult to do, and it will save you headaches if you've ever had one blow up. Okay, multi-factor authentication. This is where you log in. They send you a code. You have to put it in, then you can continue. We see that. And back things up. If you don't want to lose it, back it up. This checklist is basically what we've just gone over. Password strength. Everybody know the whole routine about passwords? 24 characters, jump up and down, spin 4 times, put it in, it'll tell you it's not right. You change it to what you just typed. It'll tell you you can't use that same password. And then we bang our heads on the keyboard. Seriously, uppercase, lowercase, use numbers, symbols, things like that, so that it doesn't easily get duped. Your question tonight, have you ever been hacked or had your identity stolen? How did you fix it if this happened? Okay, or what are you doing to keep your identity safe? Name 3 things that you're doing to keep it safe. This can be a big thing. It could take you years to get this straightened out, and it can be financially crippling. So that is the questions for tonight. See what's going on. Keep yourself safe out there. All right. So this is the actual last live session where I get to talk to you. I just want you to know that what you've done in this class, you should be proud of the work that you have done, the efforts that you've put in, where you've done really, really strong work. Okay, you have the capability in you. Always put that full effort into it, because your work ethic is the lowest amount of effort you put in. So that's what's going to be your brand. That's going to be what people know you for, is that effort that you truly put in. And people are going to recognize your name and the quality that you put forth. Know and believe in yourself. You know, you're not a product on yourself on a shelf. Never discount you. Okay. And just know that anything you truly want, you can do, and you can overcome these obstacles. Don't put excuses in front. Look at them as challenges and figure out ways you could get around them. And if there's absolutely no way around it, look at it as an opportunity to explore new avenues, because you can do these things. Look at where you started at STC and look where you are now. And go out there and make that career what you want. Don't do it for somebody else. It doesn't work well that way. It has to be what you want, and the other pieces will fall in line. So I hope you guys have great careers and enjoy life and keep it in balance. Y'all have a great evening. Don't forget tomorrow, get everything in by 10. And we'll see you out there.